The first time he saw the farm, it didn't look abandoned, it looked forgotten. The fences were still standing, the barn doors still opened, and an old tractor sat quietly near the shed. But the fields were uneven, patches of weeds scattered across the soil like signs of neglect. Most people said the land wasn't worth the investment anymore. It had been sold twice in 5 years. Each farmer tried to push it hard for quick profit, and each one left disappointed. But when Oliver bought it, he didn't see failure. He saw unfinished work. He started the first season with confidence. He repaired the tractor instead of replacing it. He walked the edges of every field before turning the engine on. When he finally began plowing, he didn't rush. The soil turned slowly, row after row, steady and controlled. After cultivating, he seeded wheat across the main field, applied fertilizer carefully, and rolled the ground to secure the seeds. Everything was done properly, at least on the surface. When the first stage of growth appeared, the field looked promising. Thin green lines began covering the soil evenly, and for the first time in years, the land looked alive again. But as days passed, something subtle changed. Certain areas grew faster than others. Some strips stayed slightly lighter in color. At first, he blamed the equipment. Then he blamed the timing. But when he checked the soil information closely, he noticed variation he had ignored earlier. Parts of the field had different fertility levels. Previous farmers had harvested aggressively without restoring nutrients evenly. They treated the entire land as one piece, but it was never truly uniform. Harvest season arrived anyway. The combine moved steadily across the wheat, the engine humming in rhythm, grain filling the tank at a moderate pace. The yield wasn't terrible, but it wasn't impressive either. After selling the crop, the numbers confirmed it. Small profit, nothing more. Enough to survive, not enough to grow. That night, instead of parking the machine and going inside, Oliver stayed in the field. The sky darkened slowly, while the last light stretched across the uneven ground. He realized something simple but uncomfortable. He had farmed carefully, but not thoughtfully. The second season began differently. He divided the land into sections based on soil quality. The strongest area would carry a higher demand crop. The weaker sections would rest under cover crops. He fertilized in precise stages, not just once. He removed weeds early instead of waiting. He watched the growth maps regularly, adjusting small details instead of assuming everything was fine. The work felt slower this time, less dramatic, but more intentional. As crops matured, the field began to look balanced. Not perfect, not identical, but harmonious. When harvest returned, the difference became clear. The combine's yield monitor stayed steady instead of fluctuating wildly. The trailer filled at a consistent rate. The weaker sections no longer dragged the entire field down. By the time he delivered the final load to the sell point, the profit was significantly stronger than the previous season. Not because he worked harder, but because he worked smarter. Still, Oliver didn't expand. He didn't rush to buy larger equipment. Instead, he upgraded one small tool, improved storage efficiency, and paid down part of his loan. He understood now that growth built on imbalance collapses quickly. The farm didn't need size, it needed stability. Over the next cycle, he rotated crops properly, maintained soil health, and kept machinery in good condition. There were no dramatic disasters, no sudden fortune, just steady improvement. One evening, after finishing a clean and efficient harvest, he parked the tractor at the highest point of the property. From there, he could see every field clearly. The land no longer looked forgotten. It looked managed, alive, but disciplined. And standing there in the quiet engine heat, he finally understood why others failed. They tried to force results out of tired soil. They treated farming like a race. But land doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to consistency. By the third season, the farm was profitable enough to consider expansion. A neighboring field went up for sale. The price was tempting, the opportunity real. He stood at the boundary, studying it carefully. Bigger land meant bigger responsibility. For a moment, ambition whispered in his mind, but experience answered louder. Instead of buying immediately, he improved what he already owned, increased efficiency, reduced waste, strengthened what existed. Months later, when he finally did purchase that neighboring field, it wasn't driven by ego, it was driven by readiness. And when the first crop from the expanded farm was harvested, it didn't feel like victory, it felt like confirmation. The farm had not changed because of new machines or larger fields, it had changed because of understanding. The land had never been broken, it had simply been mismanaged. And now, standing in a full golden field under a calm sunset, Oliver realized the greatest harvest was not measured in tons or currency. It was measured in patience. The farm that once drove others away had become steady, not spectacular, not legendary, just reliable. And sometimes reliability is the rarest success of all.